Hello. I'd like to welcome everyone on to the webinar. All of you real estate professionals out there, I'd like to welcome you on to the uh, webinar as we have a quick look at how to use Power BI in order to integrate it with our real estate reports and identifying how to create visualizations using Power BI using real estate. Uh, Before we get started into the report, what I'd like to do first is just go through a quick presentation, just so you get a good idea of who I am, what I do, and what Power BI is and how it could help you. So just a little bit about myself. I am a certified data analyst, visual data person, certified by Microsoft. I do not work for Microsoft. I do not get paid by Microsoft to hold these webinars. I have done contracts with Microsoft or been on contracts with Microsoft before, but again, just complete transparency, I do not get paid in any manner to provide these webinars. So I am the founder of powerofthebi.com. Again, I am the founder of powerofthebi.com. And, I will emphasize that Power of the BI is not any way associated with Power BI. I do primarily use Power BI as a reporting tool, but I also use other reporting tools as well. In this particular presentation, and in this particular presentation, I am going to be using Power BI to show you how to use Power BI as a reporting tool for real estate professionals. So just wanted to make sure I gave a side note there. Again, I am Terod Robertson, as you can see here. Of course, this is not my picture. This is an artificial intelligence generated picture, but the reason why I like, and of course it's not me, it's just some young cat that's flying dapper in that pinstripe suit. But just real quick, just so that you can understand it, Power BI is the BI in Power of the BI, and the BI in Power BI is business intelligence. So if you haven't been sleeping under a rock for the past 2.5, 3 years, you know that AI is artificial intelligence, and BI is business intelligence. I don't think that anyone created this so that it would go AI, BI, CI, but that's just what it is. It's business intelligence, and we do incorporate we are able to incorporate artificial intelligence into our business intelligence to really give us a bird's eye view of how our business is doing and where our business can go. Business intelligence, again, what is the company doing? What is the company doing? What is the company's health? All of those things is the intelligence side of business. The data at the end of the day is what we're looking at, what we're looking for, and what we're utilizing in order to give the business, give the managers, give the ownership, give the board of directors, the CEO, CFO, whomever, give them the overall scope in visualization. At the end of the day, that's what business intelligence is. It's the visualizations piece. Most of our not most, but a lot of our visualizations in recent years has been with us using spreadsheets. And then we could take those spreadsheets and create graphs and create pie charts and bar charts and things like that. Business intelligence now definitely using Power BI, the overall data visualization tool of Power BI, allows us to get that visual done fairly quickly, relatively quickly, almost at the snap of a finger, almost. There is some back end work that has to be done in most cases, but for the most part, we're able to we're able to build data visualizations within Power BI relatively quickly, saving a whole lot of time and saving a whole lot of man hours. And of course, from a management standpoint, saving a whole lot of money, right? So that's what business intelligence is. The introduction to Power BI, as I said before, we talked about what is AI, and well, not necessarily talked about what is AI, but we've talked about what is BI. BI is the business intelligence. It turns data into insights for better decisions, and AI, of course, is artificial intelligence, where we're able to take that business intelligence and create some artificial intelligence to make some predictions and to determine some outcomes, or at least create, again, predictions of what those outcomes should be. How does AI work with BI? AI enhances BI by automating data analysis, spotting trends, and improving decisions accurately, and creating decision accuracy. So that's what AI is. That's how it works with BI, and that's how we are integrating AI and BI. Components of Power BI Desktop. Now, there are several other components of Power BI, but in this particular case, we are going to be talking about Power BI Desktop. We're going to be using Power BI Desktop. There are other areas of Power BI, but for the most part, we're going to be seeing Power BI Desktop. The reason why that's important is because using Power BI Desktop, you must have a PC. Today, you must be using a PC in order to create Power BI reports, and you create Power BI reports on Power BI Desktop using a PC. That is not to knock Mac users. Again, there are other, there is a way to use the Mac, which is called Power BI Service, which would be at app.powerbi.com. We are not going to be using Power BI Service. So for those of you guys out there that are Mac users, if you want to stay tuned in with us, that would be great. If you choose to not, I totally understand, but I do believe that you will be able to get a great deal of information, even if you sit through this training just by using observation. But the components of Power BI Desktop is the report view, the table view, and the model view. The report view, the table view, and the model view. I will be going over, I will definitely highlight and emphasize when we get over to the report, what the report is, what the report view is, what the table view is, and what the model view is. Now, in order to get started with Power BI Desktop, I have already provided you guys with the sample data that we're going to be using. I've already provided you guys with the sample data that we're going to be using. And I would believe, I don't like to say assume, but I would believe that many of you guys have already downloaded and installed Power BI Desktop. If you have not already downloaded Power BI Desktop, please feel free to do so. We won't be getting started into the Power BI report as of right now, but we will be moving into the Power BI Desktop, in the next, few minutes or so, maybe next 10 minutes or so. So you still have time to download the Power BI Desktop. If you don't know where to go to download Power BI Desktop, you can go over to Google, type in Microsoft Power BI, type in Microsoft Power BI Desktop, and it'll take you directly to the link, and just click download. It's only a software, it's an app that you download and you install on your computer. There's nothing tricky to it. That's all it is. Typically, I would recommend that you have at least 8 gigs of hard drive space available. I have seen individuals work with a 6 gig hard drive, with 6 gigs of hard drive available, but 8 is what I recommend. And it's also what I sent over in the requirements when, for those of you guys that signed up for this particular webinar. Now, for those of you guys who did not sign up for this particular webinar and you would like to get a copy of the sample data that we're going to be using, go over to my website, powerofthebi.com, and request that download, request the information. It will be in a link that says, well, the there's a link on the website to where you can request documents for this particular webinar. So I would suggest that you go over and do that if you would like this. We won't be able to get it to you right now, but you will be able to go back and look at this video here in the near future as it is posted on YouTube, and you will be able to recreate this entire project using that sample data. Common data sources in Power BI, just so that I could be very specific, not very specific, but just so you understand what I mean when I say data source. A data source is where the data comes from. Data source is where the data comes from. So in companies, typically the data is coming from a database or an ERP system. And there are many different databases that you can use. There are Oracle databases, Microsoft databases, MySQL databases. There are a lot of different databases that you can get data from. You can even get data from APIs and websites, or even from files, CSV files and Excel files. And of course, the file that you have that has the sample data in it that we're going to be using in this project today is simply a CSV file. But there's several different data sources, but the most common data sources are SQL Server, which is a Microsoft database, CSV, and MySQL. And many of the Oracle databases use MySQL. I'm not going to say all because I'm not totally sure, but for the most part, the most common ones that I have used for data sources is SQL Server.csv files and MySQL. And again, that just means where is the data coming from? Where are you getting this data? Where are we getting this data that we're looking at, that we're analyzing, that we're reviewing? Those are the data sources, and then the data source actually has the data in it. You're going to see that the most common term that we use, or probably the most common term that we use when we are creating Power BI reports, is get data. Get data, okay? Because we've got to go get data, and basically get data means exactly what it says. Get data. I'm going to show you that get data. You're going to go to get data. You're going to select the data source and bring that data in to the report. We're going to get data, we're going to load data, and we're going to transform data. We're going to get data, we're going to load data, and we are going to transform data. Loading data just means once we get the data, we're going to load the data into the report. Transforms the data means we're going to clean the data. We're going to make the data look how we want it to look before we begin working on the report. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on transforming data because that is a class within itself. But right now, today, I do want you to understand the differences between get data, load data, and transform data. Data modeling in Power BI. We are going to spend some time going over data modeling. We're not going to get into the very deep ditches of data modeling, but if you can understand the basic concepts of data modeling, you will pretty much be able to understand the intricate details when it becomes a very complicated report. But we are going to spend just a few minutes, a little while on data modeling, and we're going to move into the report. Creating relationships is part of data modeling. Relationships, as you will see, will be how do tables interact with one another, how do tables build relationships with one another or have relationships with one another. The reason why this is important is because you'll see in Power BI that the data visualization, we typically want our visualizations to interact. Therefore, if there is data that is being changed in a bar chart, you also want to see how that's being reflected in the pie chart or in the column chart or in the matrix or in the table. So, That's pretty much why we create relationships. And then DAX, which is data analytic and analysis expressions, is it's our code that we use in Power BI. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be a super coder in order to understand Power BI, in order to build complex reports. You just need to understand what you need to understand what it takes in order to build a good DAX measure, right? And as long as you understand what it takes to build a good DAX measure, you can probably feel your way around building a very good report, a very nice report, or even a very complicated report. Again, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here today on DAX measures because, again, that is a class within itself. But I want to show you that even without spending a whole lot of time on modeling, even without spending a whole lot of time on DAX, you can begin to incorporate and integrate Power BI into your real estate reports. Just real quick, I do understand that everyone is not going to be interested in Power BI, but you're out there looking for a tech solution, a tech opportunity for you to get into the way you can make that career change, that career pivot. So for those of you guys that are out there that are into looking for that tech change, I do have a free 30-day calendar, a 30-day calendar. As you can see here, it's 30-day. Well, it's not a 30-day calendar. It's a 30-day tech transition planner. And it gives you day by day for 30 days, day 1 through day 30, to where you can use these steps in order to determine what tech venture you may want to get into. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. If you're interested in this free 30-day calendar that I have, just go to the link below in the link below in this video, and just click the link, follow the link, and we will get you over the 30-day tech transition planner. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that. Now let's get back over to the webinar. The importance of visualization in Power BI is simply just that. Is giving you the visual snapshots right then, right there. So if you want to see what's going on by month, day, week, year, you're able to do that easily with a column chart or a bar chart. If you want to see how different types of entities compare with one another, you're able to do that with a pie chart or a donut chart, and we'll be going over those things. If you want to make very quick analysis between different types or different entities, you will be able to create slicers, and you will see how we can do that. For many of you guys who are financial professionals in the real estate industry, and a lot of you guys that are financial professionals, you like to use you typically like to use Excel sheets so that you can do pivot tables and pivot and unpivot. Well, using slicers, you will be able to do most of that relatively quickly without having to, select the different items that you want within pivoting and unpivoting. You will see that once we get over into the report. Dashboard creation is what we do. It's what we do with Power BI. At the end of the day, a dashboard is what we are initially trying to create as an end result in Power BI. It's the beginning and it's the end. We want to create a dashboard, and we create a dashboard using Power BI. And we'll see just how to do that, because, like, again, you guys that have the sample data, you'll be able to follow along. Those who do not have the sample data, I'm going to say, give this video about a week or so, and we're going to get it out there for you, and you can go back and you can rebuild those reports using the sample data. But you do have to go over to powerofthebi.com to request that information, to request that sample data, and then we'll get that sample data sent over to you. The Power BI model view, again, we're going to talk more about the Power BI model view as we get into the report. But the Power BI model view, long and short, is where we build the relationships between the tables so that those tables can talk to one another, and we can see data interactions going on as we build our dashboards. Power BI mobile app. We're not going to really get into the Power BI mobile app, but you can build out the report on the desktop and get a mobile app view, but we're not going to be spending a whole lot of time on the mobile app view here today. Advanced data analysis with Power BI, introduction to advanced analytics, time intelligence functions, forecasting, and Power BI. The forecasting we'll get to later as we talk about, as we move towards the artificial intelligence piece. But we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that on the Power BI side. That'll be more on the artificial intelligence side. Time intelligence functions, we're going to probably touch on that just a little bit, but we're not going to get too complicated except for the basic time intelligence. But we can get very, very specific when it comes to time intelligence and writing our DAX measures. Again, not trying to confuse you. Don't want to talk too much about that because I don't want to make anyone feel as if this is a very complicated product, because it's not. Anyone can do it. Power BI integrations with other tools. Power BI does integrate with Microsoft Project. It integrates with different ERP systems. It integrates with different ERP systems. And it also integrates with, what do we just get to? Man, lost my train of thought. I hit the buttons too quick. Sorry about that. But the benefits learning Power BI. There's several different benefits. One is it upskills you. You upskill your real estate, your real estate positions. You know, for those of you that are working in the real estate departments within your organizations, it definitely gives you another level of skill set. Really, it gives you the tech side of the skill set of your real estate. You can't go wrong with that, because even if you wanted to transfer over into another profession, another department, every department can use Power BI. Every industry can use Power BI. So you can take your knowledge of Power BI and you upskill yourself. You can move to other departments. You can even take on other jobs and other industries, as well as for those of you guys that are out there that are real estate professionals that have your own businesses. If you have a small business, this is putting you on the same level as a big business. This is a tool that's giving you big business, giving you the access of big business, right? It's giving you the same tools of seeing what's going on in the market and forecasting what's going on in the market as big business. For those of you that are out there that are entrepreneurs and you're not sure, what you can do with this, you can parlay Power BI into an entrepreneurial opportunity. I mean, it's just that simple. But you'll be able to see that as we move through this webinar. The course delivery and course schedule. So here's the deal. I teach a course called powerofthebi.com, or I teach a course at powerofthebi.com, and that course is a 16-week course. It's a 16-week course where I teach you Power BI 2 days a week. We're live. The other 5 days a week, 2 days a week, we're live. We're not necessarily just hands-on, but we're answering questions, talking about the past week topics and talking about the upcoming week's topic. It's approximately about a 16-week course. And at the end of the day, you will become a Power BI, not necessarily expert, but you will become very, very good at Power BI. Becoming an expert is totally up to you. But at the end of the day, your skills will definitely be upskilled in Power BI. The delivery format it's 2 days a week. It's a webinar format, and the other time it is you're working at self-pace. So it's scheduled to be a 16-week course, but you can finish it in 16. You can finish it in 12. You can finish it in 8. I think finishing in a 4 is a stretch, but if you put the time in, you'll get the effort. You'll get the results back based on the amount of time you put in. You do not have to be an expert in Power BI, and you will be in position to sit for the certification exam, which is roughly about a 2-hour exam provided by Microsoft. The enrollment process for Power BI for my course is just go over to my website, powerofthebi.com, and register for the course. And then you'll get the information for the next upcoming course. We'll register for the next upcoming course, and you'll get the information for the next open house. I don't accept anyone into the course unless you attend the open house. The open house is very important. There is a cost to the course. The course is $24.95. That is $2,495. So I don't want to make you feel as if I'm trying to hit you upside the head with a sale. This is a course that I teach for 16 weeks, $2,495. But you will see here at the end of this course or at the end of this presentation here shortly that there is a significant discount for you. My contact information is you can reach out to me at any of the socials that are here, X, Facebook, Instagram, and online. All of the socials are at Power of the BI, and you can reach me at, you can connect with us as well at powerofthebi.com. Now, as I said, there is we've got a very good discount right now that's going on for everyone that's here in real estate, for all real estate professionals that register within the next 72 hours, all real estate professionals that register within the next 72 hours. I am giving a 50% discount on the course off of the $24.95. So that's like $1,250, somewhere in there. 50% discount for those that find themselves that may still be interested after we go through the webinar. With the class, there's a mentorship class. We do interview prep. I'm not gonna go too deep into that, and we do resume building so that you are able to find a job if that's what you're looking for. And we have alumni network support if that's what you're looking for, if you are looking to join the course. So, with that said, we are here now in Power BI. So, for those of you that have that have already downloaded Power BI Desktop, way to go. For those of you who are going to sit through this presentation, that's fine. I do think that it's going to be very beneficial, even if you do not have Power BI Desktop. Again, if you need to get the sample data that we have, just go over to powerofthebi.com. Go over to powerofthebi.com. That's probably how you found us in the first place. But just go over there and request the documents. Request the sample document. And whether request a sample real estate data, and we'll get that information sent over to you. And you'll see it's very easy. Just go over and just grab it and request that information. Again, we can't get it to you right now. Again, we cannot get it to you right now because we just can't get it to you right now. But we will get it to you here within the next 24 hours if you go over to powerofthebi.com and request that data. So what we're looking at here is a Power BI report, and this is the end report that we are going to be looking to create as we build a report here on this webinar. We are going to be attempting to build this report. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure I showed you this report so that you can see what the end goal is. It's very important to see what the end goal is. Some of you guys are going to be able to zip right through here, and some of you guys are going to have some questions, and that's okay. But for those of you guys that have questions, just you can connect with me on the chat. And for those of you who are on the side Zoom, you can connect with me on the side Zoom as well. And I will be responding back to you guys as well. But please understand, those of you that are requesting information verbally on the side Zoom, I will not be able to get to everyone, but everyone that requests that submits information or questions in here on this webinar channel, myself and a couple other guys will be responding to you relatively quickly. So, as a matter of fact, it's not going to be me. We have people that will be answering those questions that are on the Power of the BI team. So, just to give you a heads up there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over to this blank screen because I want everyone to start from the same place. Now, I mentioned before that there's a report view, a model view, and a data view. And also remember, I also mentioned the get data. So you already have your instructions of where to place your data. So your data should already be on your local machine. And now what we are going to do, we're going to go over to home because we've already opened up Power BI. We're going to go over to home. We're going to go to get data, which is here. And we're going to go to text CSV because that file is a CSV file. Now, you've already placed your data in the folder. And what I want you to do is I want you to grab your data from the folder. Now, this is the data that's going to come up. And of course, with that sample data, you had several files. So the first file you're going to grab and you're going to bring it in. I'm not going to bring mine in again because I already have it in. So I am going to close here, but I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to give you guys some time to bring in all of your files. Okay, and just to know that the tables that you're bringing in, again, it's going to be bedrooms, bathrooms, economic indicators, property location, property sales, and rental listings. We're not going to be using all of these today, but what I want you to do is make sure you are bringing all of them in because you will understand how to use all of them once we can conclude today. So once you guys have those files, once you guys have brought those files in, just give me a thumbs up. All right, sounds good. So I believe we have all but one person that have all the files in. Yeah. So to answer the question, no, you do not have to transform the data. Is that going to be something that you probably want to make a good habit of in the future? Yeah, probably so. But right now, you don't need to transform the data. You can just load the data right now. We could talk. We'll touch on transforming the data, or don't even worry about it. Just load the data. You'll see that it still works. Okay, so now all of the data is in. So now, looking at the report, we are currently in what's considered to be the report view. We're currently in what's considered to be the report view. Now, I don't want to confuse you, so what I'm going to do is I have a header up here that has already been created. I'm just going to delete this header so that you don't think that there's anything that I have, anything that you don't have. That was just something that I created for aesthetics. So this page is considered to be the report view, right? This is where the reports are going to happen. Over to the left, over to the right, I'm sorry, you're going to see we have an expansion area for filters. We have an expansion area for visualizations. And we have an expansion area for data. And you can just expand data and you can see the data. You can expand visualizations. You can see the visualizations. You expand the filters column and you can see filters. We're going to close the filters because I don't believe we're going to be needing to use filters as we are speaking. But currently, this is the report view. This is where we are going to be creating the report. Now, I am going to come over to the left, and as you see, this first icon is called the report view, and it's got the little green mark that's on the side of it that lets us know we're in the report view. I'm going to scroll down. Well, I'm going to click the next icon down, and it is now showing the table view. So here in the table view, we're able to see all of the tables, and we're able to see the measures. We'll talk measures later, but these are all the tables that we brought in. If we expand, now we're able to see what is actually in the in this table. In bathrooms, we only have the number of bathrooms. If we go to bedrooms, we only have the number of bedrooms. If we go to economic indicators, we have several items that show economic indicators. And of course, with several columns. And then we have the indicator ID, which is basically just a line item for each one of the indicators. We have the location ID, which is the foreign key for economic indicator. If you're not sure what a foreign key is, just Google foreign key and you'll get an idea of what a foreign key is. But I believe most of you guys probably already know what a foreign key is. We've got the date column, the unemployment rate, the median household income, interest rate, and inflation rate. Those are economic indicators. Then we have our property table. We see in our property table, where our property location, we have city, location ID, neighborhoods, state, and zip code. Then in our property sales, we have location ID, property sales table, we have the location ID, the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, the number of bedrooms, the property ID, the property type, the sales date, the sale ID, the sale price, the sales price range, the square footage. Now, so here, if we come here and we see sale price range, this is actually a measure that I created. I know this is a measure that I created because it's got the little calculator with the X column, little X thing on it. So I know that that's a calculated column that I created. We're not going to go too deep into calculated columns, but as I click on here, now I can see that this is the actual DAX measure that I created for this particular column. It's not that serious. We're not going to get that deep into it. It's just a little bit extra that I added just to put a little bit of my own sauce to it. We also had a square footage. Then we come down. Our next table is the rental listings. So we've got the listing date, the listing ID, the location ID, the monthly rate, the number of bathrooms, the number of bedrooms, property ID, property type, and square footage. Now, we are not going to be looking at rental listings today. We're going to be looking at the actual property sales. So you'll be able to take the same information that we use today and recreate the same information and build your property sales report. So again, remember, our first view we were looking at is the report view. That's the view that we're going to be building the reports in. Then we've got our table view, which gives us our tables and all the data that's inside the tables. And then the last one that we're going to be looking at is the model view. And again, the model view is how our report has relationships. So in Power BI, the models in Power BI is built using a star schema. What that means is that there is a typically a central table that relates to the other tables. And it's kind of like a bicycle spoke. You have a table and then it branches out to this table and it branches out to this table and it branches out to this table and it branches out to this table. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfect every time. Sometimes it may only branch out to, if, for instance, here we have 6 tables. So typically we don't necessarily have, we could show it to where our star is kind of having a table in the middle and it branches out to the rest. And as we see here, bedrooms actually go to property sales, and it goes to rental listings. It goes to bathrooms. So, you know, building a good model is important, but we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on modeling. As you have the sample report, you can take the sample report and you can reverse engineer to see how this thing really works. Or if you're really that serious and really want to get into this thing, just go over to powertobi.com, sign up for the course, and I can teach you how to create very good models. But at the end of the day, understand that you do have to have relationships with your models in order to build the report. Now, if I look at the property sales, the location ID of property sales and the location ID of property location, they're connected. And then location ID to economic indicator is connected. Location ID, well, number of bedrooms to bedrooms in the bedroom table, they're connected. Number of bathrooms to the bathroom table, they're connected. But bathrooms are also connected to the number of bathrooms in the rental listing. Let's see, did we have anything else? Oh, so if we did rental, so at the end of the day, what we really can tell is that we can build two reports from here. We can build a property sales report, or we can build a rental listing report. And of course, we have bedrooms connected to property sales and bedrooms connected to rental listings, bathrooms connected to property sales, and bathrooms connected to rental listings. But the property location well, we didn't connect the property location to the rental listing, but it will be connected as well via location ID. So, don't want to make that sound too complicated. You have the sample report, so you can pull this data up, and well, you don't have the sample report yet, but I will be sending everyone attending here a copy of this report so that you can reverse engineer how to build a model. But again, if you want to take the course and really get deep into understanding how to build a model, just go over to powerbi.com, sign up for the course, powerbi.com course, and you will definitely learn how to build a model. So I am back in the report view again. We started out in the report view. We went down to then we went to the table view to analyze the data. Then we went to the model view and we built our relationships. Now we are going back to the report view. And in the report view, now we are going to start bringing in visualizations. So again, this was the initial, this is the initial report that we saw, which is going to be our final report. And basically what I want to show you now is how to bring in visualizations. So as I click here, I've got this all grouped, but I'm just going to click it. So here I see that this is a column chart, and I know that it's the column chart that I selected from here because there's an outline around this column chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to our blank visual, and I am going to bring in that clustered column. I'm going to bring it down here, and the data that is in this column chart on the x-axis is, if I come over to the data and I expand the data under property sales, I see that the data that's associated with this, based on the green checks, is sales date and sales price. Sales date is in the x-axis and sales price is in the y-axis. So I'm going to come back over and I am going to select sales date, put it in the x-axis, and sales price, and place it in the y-axis. Now, when I click on this visual, I see that I only have month. So what I am going to do is I'm going to come back over to our page, I'm going to look here in this expanded drop down, and I am looking at seeing what is included here: year, quarter, month, and day. But I only want month here, so I'm going to delete looking at day, delete looking at quarter, delete looking at year. Now, this visual is looking more like this visual. So we have created a visual, a column chart visual. Now, if I select on property types includes condo sales, townhouse sales, single family sales. So I come over here. This is the bar chart that I've already created. Now, if I want to bring in this particular visual, if I highlight this visual, I can see that this highlighted visual is highlighted over here. That's called the donut chart. So I'm going to come back to our blank table, and I am going to select the donut. I'm going to bring it down to the bottom, just as we have on our final. And then I see that in property types, for values, we have condos, townhouses, and single family. And this information is coming from where this table is. Actually, these are measures that I created. And I'll show you these measures here. But with these measures, we have condos, single family, and townhomes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to come back over to the donut. I'm going to come up to property types. I'm going to place these measures in my donut. Now, just to give you some idea of what a measure is. So I created a folder, for the most part, or a table for measures. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Come over to home, go to enter data, and I like to place an underscore measures as the table name, so that it will, by alphabetical order, that underscore will rise to the top. I'm not going to click load because I already have it here, but if you do it the way I just did it, now what you're going to get is a table for measures. Now, let's see. If I come to condos, what I wanted to do was I wanted to see all property types that are condos, all property types that are single family homes, all property types that are townhouses. I'm not going to go through a measure exercise, but what you would do is in your measures table, right click, click new measure, right click, click new measure. And when you right click and click new measure, this is the initial measure that you want to create inside of your measures table. You're not going to need to create 2021 sales, 2022 sales, 2023 sales. You don't even have to create a new folder here that says property type sales, because these are going to be the only measures you have. But I'm going to go through it again real quick. You're going to go to home. You're going to go to enter data. And for the table name, I like to do underscore measures. Then you would hit load. I'm going to cancel. You're going to get this measure. This is going to be your measure table. You're going to right click and say new measure. And when you say new measure, inside of here, you're going to type, you're going to type this measure. Condo sales equals, calculate, open parentheses, sum, property underscore sales, sales price. comma, property underscore sales, property type equals, double quote, condo. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go back to measures. You're going to click new measure. And you're going to type in this information for the new measure for single family sales. You're going to come back and you are going to do it again. You're going to say new measure. You're going to go on a new measure. You're going to right click and townhouse sales. And you're going to type in this measure so that you will end up having condo sales, single family sales, and townhouse sales. Basically, we are calculating how many condo sales we had, how many single family house sales we had, how many townhouse sales we had. Then we're going to come back up to our report view, and that's when we're going to drag condo sales, single family home sales, and townhouse sales into our values, which is going to give us this look on our donut chart. Okay. So now we go back over and we compare it to our final report. So here we are going to just give that a little space and I'll bring this over a little bit just for aesthetic purposes. Now we are going to bring in our state map. So if we highlight the state map, we see that the map visual that we use is this map visual right here. So I'm going to come back over to our blank visual. Well, I'm going to come back over to our pie chart. So, and I am going to bring in the state visual. And when I bring in that state visual, we want to see what data are we using for the map. And we have state, and we use count of state saturation. So basically, I am going to come back over to our map, and I want to make sure I'm placing it in the correct place. Location and saturation. Let's see. The state map information is coming from property location, and we use state. So I am going to place state in location, and I'm going to place state in color saturation just for the effect. So as you can see now, our dashboard is shaping up pretty good. Our dashboard is shaping up pretty good. I'm going to come back over to our original, and these visuals that are just showing numbers, these are called cards. So what I am going to do, basically a card is probably the simplest of all visuals. It's going to show a count, it's going to show a sum, it's going to show an average. It typically show a number of something. Real simple here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to come back over to where we have our state visual created, and I am going to come over. Well, I don't think I showed you where the cards were. So if I select one of the cards, I can see that this item here is a card. If I select the card, I can see that this item here is a card. If I select here, I can see that this item here is a card. So I am going to select card, and I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to select 3 cards. Because I know we've got 3 different items that are on cards that we want to bring in. So this first item that we wanted to bring in is property count. And if I select this card, I can see that the item that is the table that's coming from based on the green check is property sales. So I'm going to select property ID and I'm going to bring it into the field. And that value, that's not what I want to do. Let's undo. I'm going to select the card. Then I'm going to select property ID. It gives me 98. Come back over. The next one I wanted is average sales price. Average sales price is sales price. This is going to be a good one here because I selected the card, I brought in sales price, but that's the total sales price. So it says the sum of sales price. So we can come over and we can select the down arrow and we can get average. So that's going to be the average sales price. Come back over to the final and I'm going to select square footage. See square feet here. And again, now I get sum of square feet. But I don't want the sum of square feet, I want the average of square feet. So I'm going to come here and I selected the card, and rather than having sum, I'm going to select the down arrow and I want the average. So now we can see that our data visualization is shaping up pretty good, looking fairly similar to this visual, which is our final visual. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 visuals at the top, and these guys are called slicers because now we're able to look at the data by state. We can look at the data by price range. We can look at the data by the number of bathrooms, the number of bedrooms, the number of property types, and by year. And as you can see, as we select each one of those, the different data, the different visuals are interacting based on what we selected. And that's why the modeling is important. If the modeling if the relationships are built correctly, the modeling will work. So we are going to come back over and we are going to include slices. Again, if we come over here and we select the slicer, we can see that the slicer image is being selected. So that's the image that's selected for the slicer. So we're going to select the slicer. That overwrote one of my cards. So let's put the slicer. That's not what we wanted. Move that, and we are going to say slicer, just one. Got one slicer. I'm gonna get another slicer. That's two. Just trying to give it a little shape. I'm gonna do 3. And 4. Then we're going to select, we've got state, price range, and bedrooms. So in the first one, property location. I'm going to go to property location, and we are going to select state. And that shows us all of our states. Let's see, next one is price range. And we see that what's selected here is property sales, and that's going to be that calculated column that we use. So we're going to select price range. Come back over. We got bathrooms, which is going to be in property sales. That's not what I wanted. Come back over, property sales. And bathrooms. It gave me a different type of slicer, so I'm going to come back over and do a drop down. No, I want to do a list. And bedrooms, same thing. I want to make that a list. And we got property type, and basically we got year and property type. I'm not going to add those. You can see how to add the slicers. But at the end of the day, that is our webinar on creating a Power BI dashboard for real estate. Any of you guys out there in real estate that are interested, go over to propertyofthebi.com if you're interested in really getting deep into the, if you're really interested in getting into the property types, interested in getting into building Power BI dashboards using Power BI. So if there's no other questions, if you don't have any other questions, just leave me a comment, leave me a chat, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a message, let me know if you enjoyed this.